Good Tuesday morning, MAB Elementary. It's Mr. T. Guess where I am? I'm in the upper playground at our wonderful schoolhouse. And it's really quiet here. You can hear the birds chirping. It's a nice day. Every once in a while, you're going to hear a car pass on Portsmouth Boulevard back here. Hopefully, not too many trucks. And thank goodness the leaf blowing guys across the street are gone for the day. So we'll be able to do our Tuesday Circle outside here today, which of course is something we'd love to do with you guys live and in the spirit here sometime in the near future. So let's see what we got. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd. Wow, we're in the month of June already. Sun rose this morning at 5:45. It will set tonight at 8:30, so I'd like you to go ahead and do the math and try and figure out how much sunlight we're going to have today. It's going to be cloudy, but only a 20% chance of rain, so you should have some good opportunities to get out and be about and explore nature wherever you live. It's going to be southwest wind, only 8 miles an hour, wind from the southwest. The southwest here is coming from our woods in the back, and it should be, like I say, a pretty nice day. So, what happened on June 2nd throughout history? Some pretty interesting stuff. And let me tell you what Mr. T found in his research. In 455 AD, the Roman Empire was tottering. It had expanded all over the Mediterranean. It was corrupt. They had all kinds of problems, and it was being attacked by the barbarians, as they called them, from the German tribes from up in the north of Europe. They were making frequent inroads into the Roman Empire, and by this point they had become much more powerful than the Roman legion's ability to defend the capital. And so the Vandals, a group of German tribes, the Vandals actually sacked the city of Rome. It means they came into the city, stole everything they could steal, and took a lot of slaves as Roman people. So that was effectively the end of the Roman Empire, 455 AD. In 1774, here in America, the Intolerable Acts. There were a series of legislative laws that were passed by the Parliament in Britain and imposed on the colonists against their will. And this was one of the really egregious ones, really made the colonies angry. It was called the Quartering Act and allowed the royal governors, who were appointed by the king, to put British troops living in the houses of American citizens without their approval. And that was called the Quartering Act. And it was one of the major pieces of legislation that led to the colonies eventually to revolt, the American Revolution, and you know from many discussions with Mr. Smith that led to the founding of our country. In 1835 in the United States, P.T. Barnum, a great entrepreneur, started his first tour of the United States with his circus, the Barnum Circus, and it eventually became the Barnum and Bailey Circus, toured all over America every year. Mr. T actually saw it. I saw it, three-ring circus. I saw it in the Washington Auditorium here in Washington, D.C. years ago. It was great. I hope you got to see it. I'm sure your parents did. In 1886, then President Grover Cleveland married Frances Folsom, and he was the first and I think the only president to get married in the White House. In 1896, this was a huge development. Guglielmo Marconi, an Italian inventor, got a patent in the United States for the first radio, and that was a major breakthrough in communications. In 1953, Queen Elizabeth II was crowned Queen of England, and guess what? That lovely lady is still Queen of England today in 2020. So would you figure out how many years Queen Elizabeth has been the monarch in charge of the British Empire? She was crowned in 1953, and she rules to this day. 1966, you astronauts out there, and this is particularly poignant because of what happened yesterday. The Surveyor First was the first launched spacecraft to make a soft landing on another world. It landed on the surface of the moon. And I hope you guys were able to watch the SpaceX launch of the astronaut capsule, the Dragon, yesterday. It was spectacular. And even as we speak today, they're racing around the orbit, in orbit 250 miles above the Earth, 200 miles above the Earth, trying to catch up with the space station, the International Space Station. When they do, they'll dock, unload the two astronauts who were on board the Dragon, and it'll be a major milestone in the advance of space science and space exploration, because it sets the pace now for continued frequent launches of humans from American spaceports, and eventually it'll make possible the establishment of a permanent human-occupied space station on the moon. So this is really an exciting time to be an astronomer, and I'm so privileged to have been able to explore with the Blue Group, but maybe others of you tuned in as well on our astronomy lessons over the last few weeks and months. So it's been a great time for astronomy and for science. Well, our virtue of the week, last virtue for the school year 2020, is an absolutely perfect one. The virtue is courage. Courage. What a great time to talk about the virtue courage as we leave our academic year, move into our summer of exploration of the world around us, and then continue on, if we're graduating, to future successes in academia and our professional lives. And of those of you who are returning to MAB in the fall, that'll be great, because you'll have the courage to explore new stuff here at school. But listen to some of the synonyms for the noun courage. Bravery. A courageous person is brave. Do you think those two astronauts yesterday were brave? Oh my goodness, brave. Boldness, valor. Gallantry. Gallantry is bravery combined with empathy. It's bravery combined with being a kind person. Gallantry. Intrepidity. An intrepid person is a person who knows their risk but decides to go forward anyway. Heroism. Heroes are people who had special courage at a special time to do something heroic. Those astronauts yesterday, I keep going back to those two guys, they were heroic, as have been all of our astronauts, because going into space is an act that takes courage. There's an unknown, tremendous unknown, there's tremendous risks involved, but yet they do it to advance science. That is heroism. That is courage. Fearlessness. Yeah, you can be fearful, but you still move forward. Fortitude, force of will, fortitude. Nerve, you have nerve to do something. It takes nerve. Spunk. And then if you go to the verbs, courage as a verb, you hear some interesting things that tell you how a virtuous person who's a courageous person acts. They dare to do things that are difficult. They venture. I like to think of myself as being a fairly courageous person, and one of the things I've loved to do all my life is to venture around the world, to go places I haven't been before, to see and do and eat things I haven't done before. So I'm a venturous person, and I hope you will be too. Bold. Dare to do all that they may become a man. That's what Shakespeare said. Be strong and quit yourselves like men. So, and that was a quote in the Bible. So courage is the perfect virtue on which to end our school year. And it's a very important virtue for you in your life. And it's going to be important this summer, because you're going to need the courage, the boldness to go out and explore your world. Don't sit at home. Go out. Understand nature. Explore nature. Try new things. Learn how to ride your bike differently. Learn how to skateboard. Do all the things you want to do, but be courageous, be bold. Always. So this is Mr. T signing out. Wishing you guys a great summer and look forward to seeing you back here at MAB in the fall. Take care, guys.